Now, the last and most fun part in some ways is being able to customize your user interface to your needs. As you've already seen to some degree, 3D Code is extremely and highly customizable. You can grab any tab, any palette, any button feature and put it just about anywhere you want on the screen. The only thing that I would probably change about this particular scenario is when I want to reorder these, I want to be able to just slap this over here and this one over here or whatever and not have to keep reordering those. So that would be a little more helpful. Another thing I want to point out is that if you go to under Edit, you have Preferences and you have Custom UI. You also have hotkeys that you can save. So if you have a set of hotkeys that you've defined, then you can click Save Hotkeys. And that way, if you ever update 3D Code, you don't have to redo your hotkeys. You can load them from a file. As far as the Customize UI, this allows you to customize the actual menus to some degree. So if I click on this, what you'll see is now I have checkboxes. If I float over these menus, I have checkboxes beside each of these options. So I can show or hide any one of these as I see fit. So I usually don't mess with that. I usually just click on that again and it'll lock them back down, except for the ones that need a checkbox, which would be the toggles for these. And let's say I go to Preferences. And under Preferences, I have general settings that I can deal with. I can autosave. I'm not even sure what allow inertia is in scrollable dialogues. Okay, so if I were to, in fact, let's go to voxels real quick. Let me cancel this. I'll go to the voxel room. If I were to slide this and then let go, it'll stop. But if I were to slide this really fast and just let go really fast, it'll actually keep sliding. And so that's what that setting is. I can dictate the autosave time, the depth history, which if you flip over this, it says amount of autosave files to be sequentially stored. So you can go up to however many you want. You don't actually have to have it keep loading your hard drive with more and more files. You can choose your texture editor path in case you decide to use an external 2D editor, and whether or not you're defaulting to a swap Y and Z, like we showed you on the export textures and models areas in the paint room. And then you can change other settings here. I'm going through all those right now. And then you can also have it remember certain settings and go into certain debug modes if you were trying to debug your shaders, maximum processors to be used, which I can't imagine most people using more than 32 unless they're using a render farm or work for an organization that has a lot of computers like that. And then when you're ready, hit apply or OK. If you hit apply, it won't close the menu. If you hit OK, it will apply it and close the menu. Under viewport, we have different settings like your environment sphere map, you can lower your shader quality for faster renders if you need to. You can also set up your screen grid space and the size of it. You can tweak the gradients of different areas of the viewport, like the background. In my case, I don't have it gradient because I found that to be a little bit distracting. So a lot of different settings you can do for the viewport. Brushing is kind of the same thing. You can change the color of your brush, your strength indicator, and all kinds of things here. As far as a 3D mouse, if you have one of these, like a Connection, you can use those and tweak settings there as well. And I'm going to skip over theme for a second. Let's just go straight to borders. And you can basically set up the borders and thicknesses of different areas of the screen. But the theme is probably the most important part here as far as your customization in terms of the color scheme and things like that. So if I decided I could have gradient menus, and you could see some of this is dynamically done. So my menu here, let me close this one behind it. I can't, so let me hit cancel. Now, let's go to preferences. And if I go under gradient menus, you can see this became a gradient color. And it's just a color. It's just a visual, basically. And 3D button styles, so you can have 3D style buttons if you want, which, I don't generally see much of a change, so I don't worry too much about it. And then you can change different interface colors here as well. So you can tweak those to your liking. And then once you're done, you can hit Save Theme and save them as an XML file. So in this case, if I wanted, I could also load a theme. So I have different ones that I've created. You're welcome to have, like this purple one. And if I hit OK, it will apply it. If I go to back to preferences and load orange, I got that one. It's more of a Halloween theme. Blue. So it's all different kinds of settings that you can change. And this doesn't just, well, in this case, it sets up the themes, but you actually can have it set up your layouts too. So if you wanted to export your layouts, because tweaking the UI or user interface isn't just about colors, it's about the layout as well, then you can do that. And so what you'll want to do is go under File menu and it says Create Extension. And this can contain any type of data like textures, shaders, materials, masks, etc. So if you click on that, you'll see these areas here. And so I can save my brushes, I can save strips, materials, masks. I can select which ones I want to save versus ones that I don't. I can select them all or deselect them. Voxel models, curve patterns, voxel tools, shaders. There's just so many different things you can save here, even your themes. And so what this will do is once you hit OK, after checking whatever you wanted to save, it will collect all that up into what's basically called a pack file. And this pack file is this 3DC pack. So in this case, I've managed to download a pack from another user on the forums who decided to share the shaders he's using. So he chose the shaders he wanted to export, save them out as a file, and then so if I want, I can go to Install Extension, choose that extension, and run it through. And if you look on the side here, I have a certain set of shaders. In fact, let me just drag this out. So I have these, and if I install his pack, what'll happen is it'll add whatever shaders he's included, any other settings he included with his pack that he wanted to share, or that you might want to. So I'm going to go ahead and install his pack, and we'll see what changes. I'll go to File, Extension, and then I'll choose where his file is and click. Okay, now that I've installed his pack, it says it is recommended to exit 3D Coat and restart it to apply all changes. So I'll do that. I'll pause the video and. Okay, so now that we've installed his pack, we can see that we have a new shader here. And I know this because I haven't seen it before, and it says JJ White Silhouette. And so if there are any shaders that he has decided, like in this case, default trans, we have different settings already included, or different shaders, I should say. So let's go ahead and just put a quick primitive on the scene and see what those shaders look like, just to see. If I go to my shaders menu, if I don't see it, I'll go to pop-ups and find shaders. I wish this was alphabetized, but it's not. And so I'll go to my shaders menu. I'll drag it back down where I had it. And let's go find his shaders. So he's got this trans, which is transparent one. He's got this default one. Let's see if he has any other ones. Fish. And then most of these other ones are ones that I created myself or were already in here. So it looks as if the shader menu alphabetizes the shaders, because if I go down, mine start with Rob, and so I have Rob's shader of copper, gold, whatever, and his is JJ. Actually, they're not alphabetized, so I'm not sure why I put in that order, but that's something to keep in mind. So you can share your themes, your layout, your whatever. And so what I'm going to do for you as a freebie for, I mean, it's, I guess, technically not free if you have to buy the course to get it, but it wasn't intended for that. This is something that I'm throwing to you as a bonus, is I'll save my layout and my themes for you so that you can use them as you see fit.